Hello, I'm out here with the old R1200 GS Adventure doing some slow riding, and I thought I'd quickly have a chat about this Hex GS-911 and why you have to get one before you buy an old second-hand GS like this. And there's a very good reason for this, and if you stick until the end, I'm going to attempt riding up there. I haven't done it in the GS yet. I was waiting for my custom bash plate, but we'll see. So hopefully I'll make it, or you'll see a crash. Anyways, back to the GS-911 and why you should get one before you buy your bike. Don't wait until you have it. If you're buying a new bike, it's fine. So obviously you want to look for fault codes on the bike, so if there's something wrong. And I've got good examples, like for instance this bike of mine. When I bought it, it was fine. The only thing it wasn't working was the fuel strip, and it's a common issue with these old R1200s. The fuel strip starts working, so you don't have your range or fuel left on the display. Now I could clearly see it on the dash, so that's fine. The GS-911 confirmed it. But the other thing is the ABS pump on this specific one of mine. It was working, but I removed it because I don't want ABS that can fail on me. These old servo motors weren't the best. But you won't know this if you buy the bike now. I would tell you, but if you plug in the GS-911, you would see on this bike that there's a whole lot of faults on the ABS system. It's because the whole ABS pump and was removed. The computer is still there to get the brake lights to work, but it's just straight lines to the calipers. And I prefer it that way, but I could hide it from someone if I felt a bit shady, which I won't. Another good example is a good friend of mine that bought a GS like this just after me. I think it was a 2007 model. That's what the guy said. It looked a bit different from the photos. The red and black colors didn't look standard, so something was up with it, but it looked like just a custom paint job. When I plugged in my GS-911 scan tool for the first time, we could see that the bike was made up of a whole bunch of different bike parts. The cluster, for instance, the instrument cluster computer was a 2003 model, because it gives you the VIN number of the bike, but also the serial numbers and all the information of the different computers. So the cluster was 2003, the ABS system was 2008, the bike, the chassis or the engine was 2005. And upon later inspection, he actually found in the airbox that it said the last service was 110,000 kilometers. It was written on the air cleaner, but the cluster said something like 80,000 kilometers. So the whole bike must have been in a big crash, and the guy rebuilt the bike. And it was impossible to see all of that by just looking at the bike and the components. But plugging in this tool, you could clearly see that none of the components matched the original bike. And then another example is my neighbor phoned me and said their GS, it was an air-cooled later model, had some weird problem with it was very loud and vibrating. So I had a look, and before I plugged in the tool, I could see there's a hole in the exhaust. You could hear it and see it flapping about. But when I plugged in the GS-911 scan tool, it did give a fault. I think it said something like a mechanical issue on the exhaust. So it confirmed what you could already see. But it also showed that the rear tire pressure sensor was faulty. And that is something you might not necessarily see by just looking at the bike or reading the tire pressures on the dash. So this little tool is like, it can really save you a lot of money before you buy the bike. I mean, the tool is expensive, but you can save multiples of the tool's price by getting the right bike before you buy it. Something else that I could see on my neighbor's bike, the one with the faulty exhaust, is I asked her what year model is it, and she said 2019. Now I knew from looking at the color scheme that it's not a 2019, but I didn't know which year. And when I plugged in the scan tool, it told us, you could see the bike was from 2014. So it just makes it so much more difficult to hide certain facts about a bike when you want to sell it. So if you buy a GS, it's an expensive bike, second hand, get yourself a GS-911 scan tool before you buy it, or borrow one. If you buy the enthusiast model, I think you can scan up to 10 VIN numbers. So if a friend is willing to let you use up one of his 10 scans on a bike, just remember, if you're going to scan 5 bikes before you buy one, you've already used up half of it. Or you could get the professional, the one that I have, and then it's the unlimited amount of scans. Anyways, that's just a few reasons why I think this is a super valuable tool. Apart from it helping you in the middle of nowhere if your bike stalls or doesn't want to start, or resetting certain functions, it's very valuable if you buy a bike. Then there's recently been a new release or firmware release. I just downloaded it this morning. Go check out the video where I quickly chat about some of the neat features on the new firmware update that came out now in April 2024. Thank you for watching, and since you've stuck around for I don't know how many minutes this was, I'm going to attempt to ride up there. But before I do, I'm going to walk up so you can see how steep it is, and then we're going to ride up there and hopefully not crash. I think that's the line I need to take. Flip, it looks scary from up here. Okay, so there's some solid footing here and then some loose gravel and rocks in this area here where it gets a bit steep and narrow. So I think if I go straight up here with some momentum and hopefully carry it through without smacking the bottom of the bike. Whew. I might regret this, but you're gonna witness it. And if I stall halfway, that's another video of how to turn around your bike on an incline. Whew. Thank you for joining, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you for watching. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Yo, I love this bike.